Hey friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Yogi Wade, and today's practice is a mid-tempo level 1 and 2 designed to help us find a more consistent alpha state of focus where we have kind of our attention span trained in. It's a form of a moving meditation. Yoga is always this beautiful practice to help us to find our place in this present moment, here and now. We can begin to accept our experience and stop fighting it. And only from there, noticing where we are, can we begin to feel what it's like to change, to move, to reach, growing tall, lifting up through everything, feeling the side body engaged, the core pulling the ribs in, our feet, all four corners of the feet, firmly rooted into the ground, pushing down as you rise up. Finding your awareness of every moment in the present. We'll bring our hands to our hearts. Stand up tall. Finding a flat back, finding the back muscles and the core muscles engaged together. As we fold forwards, hinging from the hips. Forming an L. Feeling those hamstrings. Release. As you try to keep this back really flat right here. This would be our monkey pose, and we'll bow down into a forward fold. We always begin with the sun salutations, even on the days the sun does not shine. It's a way to build that energy within us. From our forward fold, we place the weight into the hands and step or float back gently, finding our form in our plank pose. So we're squeezing the toes and the hands together. We're lifting the top of the head and lengthening the spine, keeping the back flat. Feel how this feels like that mountain pose. Always trying to keep that back in alignment. See how that can straighten out and lengthen. And then we'll lower down to our chaturanga. Maybe coming to our bellies. Always feeling free to take the knees in this practice if you're level 1. The knee chaturanga kneeling is always a great build up for the arms. Get you ready. We get 5 breaths in the downward facing dog. And we'll step, hop, or float to the top of the mat. Inhaling to look up. Exhaling to bow. Releasing that. And we'll rise tall. Bringing our hands to our hearts. Let's step the right foot back and find our wide-legged stance. Opening up tall and bowing forwards. Prasarta Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. We can walk our fingers behind us and feel the wrists get a little bit of release. Releasing the neck, trying to bring the head down to the mat. We can come back and rise up tall. Bring our hands to our hips and fold forwards again. Trying to keep that back a little bit flat as you reach the forehead down for the mat. Maybe binding the hands together behind your back. Sometimes taking the opposite finger on top from what's natural. It's good to practice the uncomfortable grip. Make it comfortable. We can release our hands down to our toes. Reach both sides. Feeling our hips begin to open. We'll bring our hands down and our weight into our hands. And we'll spin our toes to the front of the mat. We'll walk our hands towards the front of the mat. Feel this lunge in that left leg, that left hip. Maybe we can bring that back knee down to the mat. We're going to find our Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Bringing the hands to the hips, feeling how this feels. Hands to the shoulders, pulling them onto the back, opening the heart as we lift up, squeezing those hands together overhead. Feeling those shoulders pull towards the hips. We'll bring our hands down to frame the front foot. The weight into the back toe, back knee off the mat. Lift the left foot and bring it back to meet the right. Finding the plank pose, that solid, engaged plank pose. Let's lower down. Feel free to take the knees if you need to. Taking the full chaturanga if you're a level 2. And this time we'll raise the right foot behind us. So we step the opposite foot forward into our low lunge. Coming up, Anjaneyasana, we square the hips. That left hip comes up while you push the right hip down to keep them in line. Pull the shoulders towards those hips, feeling your stability, maybe reaching the arms down as you expand this outer part of the shoulders here. And then, keeping that action, bring our hands overhead. Noticing these ribs, knowing what they need to do to pull in, and keeping ourselves strong from the center, we'll maintain our balance. Let's fold forwards, framing our front foot. Back toe, back knee comes up. The right foot steps back into our plank pose. Any version of chaturanga that fits you today. Finding a cobra. Keeping the arms bent in our low cobra. And just hang out for a minute here. And then tucking our toes behind us and pushing back into our downward facing dog. Let's bring our knees down to the mat. We're going to take a few cat-cows as we really loosen up. Inhaling into our cow pose as we look up and lift the hips and shoulders. And we exhale as we bow, bringing the heart to the pelvis and lifting the back, creating space in the spine. Finding a few of these at the rhythm of your own breath. And finding a flat back. We're going to thread the needle, releasing the spine so the left hand can come up above us. Let's actually reach the right foot out behind us. Feeling how that feels. You can bring the left hand all the way out to the left, trying to keep it perpendicular to the side body. And then you bring the right foot all the way out to the right. Feeling how that feels as you squeeze the right hand into the left leg. You can set that right leg down if you need to. Otherwise, if you're stable here, keep it where it is while you take the left hand and thread the needle underneath the right wrist, coming out of the shoulder, the side of the head, pushing out through that heel. You can reach your other arm up, or you reach for your toes. Pushing the weight into all 5 fingernails that touch the mat or the ground. Finding your stability, wherever it is, even for a moment. If it's there for a moment, it's there. You can feed it. We'll come back and unwind ourselves for the other side. To thread the needle. Taking a moment to get readjusted. Finding our tabletop. The right hand comes out overhead, and the left foot behind us. Lifting that left heel, pointing the toe. seeing how much space you can get between the foot and the hand. We'll bring that hand out to the right. Trying to keep it perpendicular to that side body. Then we push up to the back heel. We bring that foot parallel to the arm. Feeling how that feels, lifting the heel as high as you can to the side. Breathing into it, sticking with it. When you find your stability here, you can either bring that leg back or thread the needle with it here. Either way, you take the right hand and the right arm, place it behind the left wrist, until you place your weight all the way under your fingernails and the back of your arm. You can lift the left hand over your head and then try to grab your toes. Coming back to center, unwinding. Taking another cat-cow just to release. That cat feels good. Let's fold it back into a child's pose so we can expand the spine after the twist. And if we can find our balance there, I think we can do something similar on one foot. Let's push back into our downward facing dog. Lift the right foot out behind us. Point the toe. How high can it get? We'll step it forwards between the hands. Finding our pyramid pose. Maybe trying to keep the chest parallel to the mat. Try not to tightrope your feet so much to keep your balance. We'll bring our arms out to the sides. Airplane arms. Let's bring the left hand to the inside of the foot, our revolved pyramid. Breathing into that hip and that leg as you lift your right hand as high above you as you can. And we'll bring both hands down to frame the foot. Spin the back foot perpendicular. And we'll try our triangle pose. Maybe taking a block here if you need one. Finding your stability. Finding your form. Lifting up through that side body so this doesn't collapse, this doesn't rest. This is a lifting and expanding and lengthening with every breath of air. Let's bend into that front knee. Left hand can come down to the hip. You can place your weight in that front hand and find our half moon. For those of you on the other side, you can look at it like this. Hand comes to the hip. Weight comes to this foot. Bend into the knee. And you kick that back foot up. When you get there, you lift the hand up. Pushing out through that back heel, trying to look up at your top hand, trying to stack the hips, trying to stack the shoulders, the chest is open, everything's expanding. And when you're ready, you bring that back foot back. Hands come forward to frame the foot. And let's jump switch. Maybe taking 3 jump switches, finding yourself on the opposite side. Finding our pyramid pose. Arms come out. Airplane arms. Lengthening the spine. Squeezing those feet together. Trying not to tightrope. Right hand comes down to the inside of the foot. Revolved pyramid pose. Expanding through the shoulders and the chest and arms. Hands come down to frame the foot. Readjust the back foot perpendicular and we'll find our triangle pose. Hand can come to the toe or to the outside of the foot or to the ankle or a block. Lifting up. And the right hand comes to the right hip. Bending the knee. Weight with the hand, put the hand in front and to the outside of the little toe. And then you put the weight in the hand and lift up and look up and point through that back foot, that back heel. Feeling how that feels, trying to straighten that leg beneath us, stacking the hips and then stacking the shoulders. Let's bring our hands down to frame the foot. Bring our feet back down. Take a forward fold for a minute. Maybe taking our fingers to hook our toes with our fingers and thumbs, and using the arms to bow the heart towards the toes, engaging those biceps as you pull your upper body down. And then releasing. Looking up into a monkey pose. Let's come stand tall. Lifting in all directions as tall as we can. Hands come back to heart. We're going to bow forwards. Uttanasana. Placing the weight into the hands. We'll lift that right foot out behind us. Standing splits. Pushing up to that back heel. Squaring the hips and the shoulders as you try to lift that heel as high as you can. And then you place the weight with the left hand. Lift the right hand, maybe to your hip. You can push that foot out as far behind you as you can, or you can bend the knee. If you bend the knee, you can take your hand behind and try to grab the top of the foot for a sugar cane pose. Ardha Chandrasana is the half moon. Let's bring our hands down, front foot. That right foot comes back down. Taking a moment in the forward fold. Then our left foot comes out behind us. The weight comes onto the right hand. That left hand can rise. Maybe to the hip. Maybe all the way up. Maybe bend that back knee and try to grab the top of the foot. It's okay to bend both knees as you do. And then straighten once you get it into the sugar cane. Opening the heart to the ceiling. Releasing the foot, Ardha Chandrasana. Hands come down to frame the foot, square the hips. Feet come back down. Let's bend the knees, find our seated position. Taking this moment to cradle the hips. Rock each hip side to side. Feeling that release anything in the lower back. We can roll onto our backs and grab the outsides of the feet for a happy baby pose. Trying to bring those knees outside behind the armpits. As you really release those hips and release the tailbone down to the mat so you keep that rooted, to keep a flat back as much as you can. So you're really moving from the hips. That's what you're working on here. After we release that, we can find ourselves seated or lay down for our Shavasana. And take this moment to feel your own blood flowing through your body. Experience this moment with your full awareness of everything that's happening in your body and in your mind. Your full intention has been built through this practice. We're able to change the body into any form or posture that we work ourselves towards. And it's never perfect change, it's never a perfect posture, but those little incremental improvements through every practice teaches us how we have control over our bodies and our minds. And that's a very powerful realization, to understand that that crazy voice in your mind is something you can control and you can manage. The same way this crazy body that we're living in is something that you can bend into shapes. How cool is that? We can bend our body into shapes and forms and poses. Yoga is such a beautiful practice. And I'm so glad that you are taking the time to watch this and take care of yourself and share in this beautiful practice with me. The love and light in me honors the love and light in you. Namaste. Yogi.